Good morning. I'm Judge Amy Carter. This is Courtroom 1, Session 1. Could I have the attorneys place their appearances on the record, please?
Keisha Halen, Office of the Public Defender.
Thank you.
Elaine Fusco, State Attorney's Office.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Your Honor, to vet LaPointe, she refused to attend.
All right, that's 19 CF 11060. She is here because she violated her conditional release. Judge Barber signed the warrant revoking her pretrial release. Her bond is set at none. Sir, good morning. Your name?
Harry Circus.
Thank you. All right, sir, you are here in 19 CF 16352. You were arrested for fleeing and attempting to elude. You have several other cases. Thank you. In '19 CF 16336, you were also arrested for fleeing and attempting to elude. I'm finding probable cause for one, fleeing and attempting to elude. It's the same occurrence or event. Bond in 19 CF 16352 will be set at $5,000. Sir, you have 18 CT 197. You failed to appear for trial. Your bond is $2,500 in that matter. In 17 CF 1395, you failed to appear for a status hearing related to driving while license suspended. Your bond is none in that matter. In 15 CF 4620, you failed to appear for driving while license suspended. Your bond is $2,500. Is there another CT case that I missed? There it is. 14, you failed to appear on 14 CT 152. Your bond is $2,500 in that matter. On 17 CT 1240, you failed to appear for no motor vehicle registration. Your bond is $500. Bless you.
Thank you.
And then in 19 CF 16336, you were arrested for fleeing and attempting to elude. I'm not finding probable cause for that as I found it in the first case. Aggravated battery on a law enforcement officer, aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer with intent to commit a felony, driving while license suspended with 2 prior convictions, possession of drug paraphernalia. Bond on count 2 is going to be $7,500. Bond on count 3 is going to be $2,500. Bond on count 4 is $150. Bond on count 5 is $100. And then finally, you have 19 CF 16338. You were arrested for aggravated battery on a law enforcement officer with a motor vehicle. There is probable cause. Your bond is $10,000. Thank you, sir. Yes. Good morning.
Judge,
Mr. Archie, how are you? Not well, because you're here, right?
yes.
All right, Mr. Archie, you're here in 19 MO 1897 for open container. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Did you want to resolve your case this morning?
Yes, I would like to resolve it.
All right, what's going on with the out on bond case?
Oh, I was all right on that. I got 33 days on that so far. I was out hard, and I got caught on the 5th on that one. So most
Has
likely,
information been filed? No, so we can't do anything with it anyway. Okay. All right, I'll need you to complete the plea form for me.
okay.
Well, Mr. Archie, you look well. Why are you hanging out back downtown?
Oh, I was thirsty. They treated me to a beer, and I was sharing it with a couple other people in a cup.
But,
And
Miss, you know you can't do that down there.
I know, but, you know,
You can't go back to the 7-Eleven,
okay,
right? I thought you were clean.
I was in that program, Anchor, and they wasn't letting me move forward. And like 4 months later, they let me go to the labor pool. And then the director says, you have to start bringing some money, if not, you have to go. So, and when I would go to my appointments, they would drug test me and all this. And of course, I'll be negative. And I was on Vivitrol also.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to Columbia Street for the shots.
Mm-hmm.
And I was supposed to get my 4th one on October, but I was locked up here. So I called that place, Core something in Kissimmee,
Yeah.
that she gave me, and there was no answer, and I left multiple messages. And
Did you ever follow up with the Matthews Hope information that I'd given you?
that I did call, and I didn't get no answer, and I had left message also. But that more core, I called multiple times and no answer, and I left my sister's number, I left my number, the address and everything.
Don't go back to the 7-Eleven, Mr. Arce.
Okay,
Did you read the plea form?
yes.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights on the plea form?
Oh, no questions.
All right, and you're not on probation.
No,
And you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, that this plea form will subject you to deportation.
yes, I'm a citizen.
All right. And you haven't taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand what's happening today?
No.
All right. I'm going to accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail. You have credit for 2 days' time served. You're going to have to pay court costs. Those are due by November 27th of 2020. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing. I'm not going to take any action on your out on bond case, but do not go back down there.
Yeah, technically I was in the building next
We'll
to it.
find someplace else.
Yes, I will.
You know they know who you are, right?
Yes, I
Okay.
do.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Arce.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Sir, good morning. Your name?
Terrence Jeffrey Brooks, ma'am.
Mr. Brooks, you were here in 19 MM 9529. You were arrested for trespass on property after warning.
Correct, ma'am.
There's probable cause. Did you want a lawyer to help you this morning, sir?
Ma'am, I had to choose FDLE and the University of Law right here in Orlando because I had stated to the officer on the affidavits that I was the owner of the location and I can't produce the proper documentations of the ownership from those individuals. Also, the head district attorney.
Okay, so did you want me to appoint a lawyer to help you with your case?
I mean, they have lawyers in those branches. Also, I have funds to purchase one, but I wanted to use those just to show you the documentation so you know the cases will be resolved
All
very
right, so
quickly.
you're saying you have a defense to the case and your defense is that you own the property, is that right?
Yes, I pretty much did. I mean, it's to cut down on them.
All right, so you're not gonna
I
wanna
don't-
resolve your case today then? Am I understanding
Yes,
you
I
correctly?
do.
Oh.
How can we
Well, if you
resolve
resolve your case today, though, you're not gonna be able to prove the property is yours. You're still gonna have the conviction.
Oh, well, I'm doing without the conviction and show that the property is mine. I was arrested a previous time at another location.
I'm gonna actually appoint the public defender to help you. Ms. Hanley, would you like to speak with him for a moment?
Yes.
Thank you.
Your Honor, Mr. Brooks isn't going to resolve his case today.
No. All right, Mr. Brooks, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance this morning. When you leave the courthouse, or when you leave the jail, they're going to give you a court date that you need to go back to court. All right? And I'm going to order that you need to contact your lawyer within 24 hours of your release to let them know the best way to get in contact with you. You're also to attend all court dates. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Good morning, your name?
William Hayes.
Mr. Hayes, this is 19 MM 9552. You were arrested for petty theft.
Yes, ma'am.
There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Ms. Fusco, did you have an offer for Mr. Hayes?
Yes, Your Honor. Adjudication of guilt, 4 days, credit time served, court cost, and no
Okay.
return to scene.
To Publix? Thank you. Okay.
May I have a moment, Your
Sure.
Honor? Your Honor, is there any way to confirm if he's on probation?
It's
Felony or county? Some have them on county.
It looks like his last conviction was April 5th of this year for duelist and DUI. If he resolved that with probation.
That's the Orange County, correct?
Mr. Hayes, was that case in Orange County?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let me check. See if you didn't
Yeah. Just take care.
check right now.
Yes.
You got it, Jenny? What's the case number? 19
MM 5550.
AO?
Yes, the probation for 300 days, and that was in July.
All right, so Mr. Hayes, you're on probation, so I think Ms. Haley just advised you it's probably not in your best interest to resolve your case this morning.
Yeah, but I told her I want to anyway.
Okay, so you understand that entering this plea will likely violate your probation?
Yes, ma'am. My goal was to actually go ahead and come in and get an attorney and get back into the DUI courts and have them offer me some time to get me off probation anyway, because I can't pay it. I can't pay the DUI school. So my goal was to
Okay.
go through the
So,
violation.
and as you said that too, just so you understand, even though you're not on probation, the completion of the DUI school and that kind of thing is required to get your driver's license back.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so having the benefit of everything that we just talked about, you still want to enter the plea today and resolve your case?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You understand also it's likely that your probation officer may file a violation of probation affidavit while you're in the jail and you may not be released from the jail?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Go ahead and sign the plea form, please. Mr. Hayes, did you read the plea form?
Yes.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights that you're giving up?
No, ma'am.
All right, and we just discussed the fact that you're on probation and all the consequences that may be associated with the fact that you are on probation and entering a plea to this case.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and you want to proceed.
Yes.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Have you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand what's happening in court today?
No, ma'am.
All right, I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 4 days in the Orange County Jail. You have credit for 2 days' time served. You're not to return to Publix. You will have to pay court costs. Those are due by November 27th of 2020, and you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing.
All right, thank
All
you,
right,
ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am, good morning. Your name?
Morning, Twiki.
All right, Ms. Key, you're here in 19 MM 9540. You were arrested for trespass on property after warning and possession of drug paraphernalia. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. I'm going to stay the bond at 500 on count 1 and 100 on count 2. Not going to take any action on the out on bond cases at this time. Ms. Key, you may not return to the 7-Eleven where you were arrested. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yes? All right. I also want you to get in contact with your lawyer within 24 hours of your release from the jail.
Excuse me, I thought you said you were gonna get hard.
Good morning, your name?
Good morning, my name is Kiana Hudson Reynolds.
Ma'am, you are here in case number 19 CF 16309. You were arrested for loitering or prowling and attempted burglary of an occupied structure.
Yes, ma'am.
There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond on count 1 is 100. Your bond on count 2 is 500.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, sir. Your name?
Leroy Eakins.
Mr. Eakins, this is 19 CF 16324. Sir, did you want me to appoint the public defender to represent you this morning, or are you going to hire a lawyer? You didn't fill out the paperwork.
Yeah. Yeah, you can give me one.
Okay, so I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I do not find probable cause on count 1. There's probable cause on counts 2 and 3, and there's no probable cause as to count 4. Sir, you are not to have any contact with Christopher Rogers. You're not to possess any weapons or any firearms. Your bond on count 1 is going to be $5,000. Your bond on count 2 is $5,000. Your bond on count 3 is going to be $150.
Your Honor, I
Yes.
just wanted to ask if you received the supplemental report from the law enforcement.
I have not. Did you have a copy?
Yes, I do.
Did you have a copy for the defense as well?
Yes, I do. The back part is the same as you want to have, but there is some additional information.
Okay. Okay, Miss Haley, did you have a chance to look at, the information's contained in the second page. Third paragraph. It says he decided to look inside his vehicle and found his pistol had also been stolen from the middle console and a cell phone.
Your Honor, I'm just missing the jury or that it was sworn to, or,
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes, you may. Ms. Haling, are you satisfied that probable cause has been established?
may I have just one moment, Your
Sure.
Honor? Thank you.
For me? Yes, ma'am, I do.
Your Honor, yes.
All right. So there is probable cause as to count 1, and as to count 4. Count 1 is a punishable by life felony. Ms. Fusco, did you want to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
In this case, the victim initially reported that he went to his truck and the backpack blowers were missing, and also his pistol and a cell phone were missing. And he later identified it as a Smith & Wesson MP Shield 4 caliber handgun. The victim also had reported that he had seen the items that were stolen advertised for sale, and so 4 property detectives attempted to confront the defendant and were later able to find the items stolen. The victim had said there were unique marks and scratcher on the blower that he was able to identify. And when the officers looked in the vehicle, they also found the Smith & Wesson. When he obtained the firearm, he became armed at that point. And so making it an armed burglary of the conveyance. So the state would argue that there is proof evident or presumption great of the armed burglary of a conveyance with a firearm, and that the defendant should be held without bond to protect the community and the victim.
Ms. Haley?
Your Honor, we defer to the court.
Okay. I do find that the state has met their burden to establish that there is proof evident or presumption great. However, based upon the facts of the case and the defendant's history, I am going to exercise discretion and grant him a bond as to count 1. Bond will be $10,000 on count 1, and bond will be $150 on count 4. Sir, good morning.
Good morning.
Your name, please?
Enrico Baldwin.
Mr. Baldwin, you are here, sir, in 19 CF 16329. You were arrested for possession of cocaine with intent to sell or deliver, possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver, and possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Thank you, Robin.
Thank you.
Bond on count 1 is $2,500. Bond on count 2 is $150. Bond on count 3 is $150. 19 CT 8633, you were arrested for driving while license suspended. Your bond is $100. So you're not to drive without a valid driver's license.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Good morning, your name?
Christopher John Carruthers.
Sir, you're here in 19 CF 10681. You failed to appear for arraignment on October 30th of this year. Your bond is set at none. I will appoint the public defender to represent you, sir. Thank you.
I don't have a bond.
You do not. You have to have your lawyer file a bond motion in Division 17. That's the judge who issued the capias, the bench warrant.
Even though that the officer wrote the wrong address on my paperwork, so I never even got
That's a defense to the
court.
charge, sir, and you'll have to talk to your lawyer about that. Thank you. Sir, good morning. Your name?
Joseph Anthony Chicalona.
Sir, you are here in 19 CF 10649. You were arrested for retail theft greater than $300 pursuant to a probable cause warrant. Your bond is $500. You also have 19 CF 106. One second. 50. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for retail theft greater than $300. Your bond is $500. You have 19 CF 13132. You were arrested for grand theft third degree pursuant to a probable cause warrant. Your bond is $5,000. And you have 19 CF 13126. You were arrested for grand theft third degree pursuant to a probable cause warrant. Your bond is $2,500. And in each of these cases, sir, you are not to return to the scene or to Home Depot. Thank you. Ma'am, good morning. Your name?
Tammy Kombi.
Ms. Kombi, this is 19, I think this is a typo. It says CT, but I believe it should say CF. 16348. You were arrested for battery on a person 65 years of age or older.
Yes, ma'am.
There's probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to
Okay.
represent you. Your bond is $2,500.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not going to take any action on your out on
Thank
bond
you
case
so
at
much.
this time. Ma'am, you're not to have any contact with Marshall
He's
Usler.
here, ma'am. He's here. Can I go there and get my stuff, or what? I'm supposed to go to my sister's, but,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, just a second. Mr. Usler, did you want to be heard, sir? You can come into the witness box. Hi, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Could you please raise your right hand to be sworn in?
I'm sorry?
Could you raise your right hand for
Oh,
me to be sworn in? Thank you.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Please state your name for the record.
My name is Marshall Usler.
Okay, and Mr. Usler, did you want to have contact with Ms. Kombi?
I would like to. I mean, she depends on me to make her appointments to the doctor. She's got an appointment, I think, Friday. She's got another one. She's been waiting 6 weeks to see a doctor at the Women's Health Clinic. That's, I think, about 2 weeks. She's been already waiting for 6 weeks to make that appointment.
Does anyone else live with you all?
No.
Okay, so it's just the two of you in the home?
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you lived together?
About a year.
Okay. Whose home is it?
It's my home.
Okay.
Now, I would like to have a contact with no violence if possible, so
Well,
I can.
sure, but my concern is that there's been 11 reports generated from your house related to the two of you. So I'm not sure that that's the best idea.
Well, it's related also to her ex-husband, or they're going through a divorce. He's a friend of mine. He comes over, and that's when the conflicts usually arise.
Okay, so those 11 reports are not specifically between the two of you?
No, ma'am.
I see. Okay. And even though there's, are you the alleged victim in the case that she has pending as well?
I was the alleged victim, yes. And that was the neighbors. She came over to get stuff, and I think the neighbors called. I didn't call the police at that time.
Ms. Kombi, you're gonna go stay at your sister's?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so what I'm gonna order is that you are not to have any hostile contact with one another. You do need to maintain a separate residence, so you're gonna go stay with your sister?
ma'am.
Okay? And you're not to possess any weapons or any firearms?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, am I allowed to take her to her doctor appointments?
Yes, you are, you just can't live together.
Okay.
You're gonna go stay with her sister,
All right.
okay?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, is, Mr. Usler, is it, are these issues related to drugs and alcohol?
No, ma'am, they're not.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Good morning. Your name?
Good morning.
Mr. Epps, this is 19 CF 16330. You were arrested for carjacking with a firearm. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Ms. Fusco, did you want to be heard with respect to bond?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, the victim provided a statement that the co-defendant in this matter pointed a silver pistol with a black handle in his face. He attempted to hit him, and he told him to get it to the ground. He went in his pockets and removed some items, and then he took the Nissan Altima. Following him was the defendant who was driving the Jeep Compass that both of the defendants came to the scene in. The police were able to track the vehicle that had been stolen from one of the victims' phone. They found the Jeep Compass that the defendant had driven away from the scene and followed the co-defendant who was driving the stolen vehicle. There was a show up, and both victims were able to identify the defendant positively. And in the search of the apartment, they were able to find a necklace, a ring owned by the victim, and the gun used in the carjacking, and a distinctive red bag that the victims had described earlier as seeing on the back of the defendant at the time of the crime. And so the state would argue that there is proof evident, presumption great, and the defendant should be held with no bond to protect the victim and the community.
Ms. Haling?
Your Honor, we defer to the court.
All right. So the state has met their burden at this time to establish that there is proof evident. Just a minute, Mr. Epps, you can talk to your lawyer. That there is proof evident or presumption great. Sir, you are not to have any contact with either of the victims in this matter or with your co-defendant. You're not to return to the scene, and you're not to possess any weapons or any firearms. And at this time, bond will remain at none. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, he does have a 5-day hold for probation too.
Okay. Ms. Haling can explain that to him. Good morning. Your name?
Casting Hardy.
Mr. Harding, you are here in 19 CF 16349. You were arrested for robbery, sudden snatching, and armed burglary of a conveyance with a firearm pursuant to a probable cause warrant.
Your Honor, as to count 2, I know a probable cause was found, but there's no firearm even within the affidavit of the warrant.
Okay.
I believe the correct charge would be burglary of a conveyance with battery.
I don't know that I can change what is in the affidavit of the warrant for probable cause. I'm going to leave it as is. I'm going to take that into consideration when I'm setting the bond, and I don't think it's appropriate to change it from with a firearm to a battery either. So the state can charge what they think is appropriate based upon the facts contained in the affidavit when they make that decision, and I'm just going to set bond according to the facts in the case
Yes,
and what's here. Okay? The public defender is appointed. In 19 MM 1071, he was arrested for resisting officer without violence. There is probable cause for that offense. Bond in that matter is $500. All right. I'm gonna leave bond set as it is, at 10,000 on count one for the robbery, and then 2,500 for the armed burglary.
You know, he does have a 5-day hold probation.
Thank you, Robin. Good morning, your name?
Taurus Hill.
Mr. Hill, you are here in 19 CF 13656. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause capias where the state of Florida has filed an 8-count information charging you with armed burglary of a dwelling with a firearm, dealing in stolen property, 2 counts, grand theft of a firearm, receiving money from a pawnbroker by false verification, 3 counts, and criminal mischief.
Yes, ma'am.
I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Ms. Fusco, did you want to be heard with respect to bond?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, the victim stated that his door was forcefully kicked in and multiple items were stolen from his apartment, including a Beretta handgun and about $1,350 in miscellaneous property, and then had been pawned by the defendant. He initially, the victim didn't know the serial number but the firearm, but he was able to provide law enforcement with the name of the place that he purchased, which was Shoot Straight, and law enforcement was able to get the serial number for the stolen gun. And later at the pawn shop, they were able to identify on surveillance the person who pawned the gun as the defendant. The pawn ticket contained other items that belonged to the victim that had been stolen during the burglary, and the handgun was sold to the pawn shop 3 hours after the burglary occurred at the victim's apartment. There was also later a game console that was reported by the victim that was also pawned. The surveillance footage clearly captured the defendant, and he had a bag that had been used to take the items. Because he stole a firearm during the burglary, he armed himself with the firearm, and he aggravated the original offense. And there's also at the time of the pawn transaction, there was a thumbprint obtained, and that was matched to latent prints on file of the defendant, and were compared by the latent print examiner, Amanda McHugh. And so the state would argue that there is proof evident presumption grade, and that the defendant should be held on no bond for the protection of the victim and the community. Thank you.
Ms. Haling?
Your Honor, we just asked that the court use its discretion today in setting a bond. Mr. Hill has no criminal history, and that's all, Your Honor.
All right, so the state has established their burden of proof evident or presumption great based upon the facts that are contained in the sworn affidavit for arrest. Sir, I'm not going to exercise my discretion today in granting a bond. Bond will remain at none on count 1. Count 2, 100, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 will remain at 100. I'm also revoking the bonds in 19 CF 10531 and 19 CF 9639. Those will also be set at none. Thank you, sir. Sir, good morning. Your name?
My name is Leonard Jones.
All right, Mr. Jones, you have a few cases this morning. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in each case. You have 19 CT 8635. You were arrested for driving while licensed suspended. There's probable cause. I'm going to set your bond at $500. You're not to drive without a valid driver's license. You have an out-of-county VOP, which I'm going to revoke your bond in that. That'll be set at none. You've got 19 CF 16337, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. There is probable cause for that offense. Your bond is $4,000. And then you have an out-of-county on-view VOP based upon the violation, or based upon the new law offense of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. There is probable cause for the violation of probation, and bond on that will be set at none.
And what county is that out of, ma'am?
Osceola.
What the first county was that out of? You said
That
two of the
was
same thing.
Out of Osceola County. So you're on, it says you have a violation of probation, you bonded out
Yes,
on that.
ma'am.
So I revoked that bond, and then this is a new alleged violation of that
Oh,
probation.
basically the same charge. Okay, I understand what you're saying.
Yes. Okay?
Okay, yeah, I'm fine.
All right, thank you, sir. Sir, good morning. Your name?
Wolf Luther King Luma.
Did you say Loudermilk?
Wolf Luther King Luma.
Cody Loudermilk refused to attend, Your Honor.
Oh, all right. Well, that's 19 CF 16269. I'm finding a waiver of his appearance based upon his refusal to come to court. I will appoint the public defender to represent him. His bond is stayed at $10,000. And you're Mr. Luma, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir. This is 19 CF 16351. You were arrested for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. There is probable cause.
Say something, Your Honor.
I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. I would talk to Ms. Haling first before you say something to me.
Can I have a moment, Your Honor? Thank you, Your Honor. May I be heard as to the out on bond cases, Your Honor?
Yes,
it
I'm going to
too
stay the
early?
bond
Okay.
at $4,000 in 19 CF 16351. Go ahead, Ms. Haling.
Mr. Luma has been, as you can see, he's out on bond in the two cases. The prior case, he's been out on bond for over a year. He's just asking the court to use its discretion today and not taking action as to his bonds that he's out on. has upcoming court next week on them.
All right, Mr. Luma, given the fact that it is constructive possession case, I'm not going to take any action on your out on bond cases today. All right, thank you, sir. Sir, good morning. Your name?
David Matthew Miller.
Mr. Miller, you are here in 19 CF 15791. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for failing to comply with registration law. Your bond is $1,000. I'm going to appoint the public defender. Mr. Miller, you understand that you have reporting requirements when you are released from the jail or when you move or change residence. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm not going to take any action on your out on bond cases today, but I'm going to order that you are to contact your lawyer within 24 hours of your release so that they may go over with you the registration requirements.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Good morning, sir. Your name?
Good morning, how you doing? My name is Tyreek Morris.
Thank you, Mr. Morris. Ms. Fusco, did you have the supplemental information related to Mr. Morris as well?
I don't have extra copies, but they are the same as previously supplied to the court and to the public defender in the co-defendant's case.
Okay. Yeah. Is there a way to, you can't say if we put both or no? Okay, all right. So the clerk is going to make a copy of the supplemental report. It's going to be filed in both of the cases because I'm going to rely upon the supplement that was provided in Mr. Eakins' matter
Yes, Your Honor.
regarding the probable cause. Okay. All right, this is 19 CF 16328. Sir, you were arrested for armed burglary of a conveyance with a firearm, grand theft, third degree, dealing in stolen property via the internet, possession of cannabis less than 20 grams, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, carrying a concealed firearm, possession of ammunition by a convicted felon, introducing contraband in a county facility, possession of ammunition by a convicted felon, and possession of ammunition, well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 counts of possession of ammunition by a convicted felon in grand theft, third degree of a firearm. There's probable cause for all of the offenses. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Ms. Fusco, did you want an opportunity to be heard on bond as to count 1?
Yes, Your Honor. The victim in this case had made a report to the police that he had gone out to his vehicle and noticed that blowers were missing, and he decided to look in his vehicle and found that a pistol had also been stolen, as well as his cell phone. Later, the victim reported to police that the items that were stolen had distinctive markings, and he was able to identify when they were advertised for sale online. And so there were property detectives who had set up an operation to go to meet the defendant who had advertised the property for sale. The victim was able to identify the leaf blower because it did have distinctive markings. And when the police were inspecting the car, they were also able to find the pistol in a jacket. And so at the time he took the blower and the pistol, he became armed, and making this the armed burglary of a conveyance. So the state would argue that there is proof evident or presumption great, ask that the defendant be held on no bond, and at this time.
Thank you. Ms. Haley?
Your Honor, as to proof evident presumption great, we defer to the court. However, we would ask, just based on the circumstances, that the alleged firearm was taken after the burglary, not necessarily he burglarized with the firearm. With that being said, Your Honor, we would just ask for the discretion of the court in setting a bond in this matter.
The state has met their burden to establish that there is proof evident or presumption great. I will, however, exercise my discretion to grant a bond. As to count one, bond on count one is going to be $15,000. Bond on count two is going to be $150. Bond on count three is $150. Bond on count four is $100. Bond on count five is $150. Bond on count six is $150. Bond on count seven is $150. Counts 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, he will be ROR'd as to those counts. And bond on count 5 is $5,000. Or I'm sorry, on count 15 is $5,000. Sir, you're not to have any contact with your co-defendant, you're not to possess any weapons or any firearms, you're not to have any contact with the victim in this case, and you're not to return to the scene. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're also not to possess any controlled substances without a valid prescription.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Good morning, your name?
Poole.
Mr. Poole, this is 19 CF 14766. You have been indicted on a 3-count indictment for first-degree murder with a firearm, accessory after the fact to a capital felony, and aggravated battery causing great bodily harm. Your bond has been set at none. You are going to be set for arraignment in Division 17. The Public Defender's Office has been appointed. You're also not to have any contact with your co-defendants. Thank you, sir. Sir, good morning. Your name?
Singletary.
Mr. Singletary, you are here. In 19 CF 16323, you were arrested for carjacking with a firearm and robbery armed with a firearm. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Ms. Fusco, did you want to be heard with respect to bond?
Yes, Your Honor. The victim in this case reported that the defendant pulled out a silver pistol with a black handle and pointed at the victim's face. He then told the victim to get down on the ground. He complied. He reached in his pockets, took some cash, and then took the vehicle. There was a second victim also in the car. The co-defendant then drove the Compass away from the scene. And with the second victim's cell phone, they were able to track the vehicle and to the defendant. There was a show-up where both of the victims were able to positively identify the defendant. The state argues that there is proof evident or presumption great, and we ask that he be held without bond for the protection of the victim and for the community.
Thank you. Ms. Haling?
Your Honor, we defer to the court.
All right, so at this time, I do find that the state has met their burden to establish that there is proof evident or presumption great based upon the information contained within the sworn probable cause affidavit. Bond on count 1 will remain at none. Bond on count 2 will remain at none. Sir, you are not to have any contact with your co-defendant. You are not to have any contact with the victims. You are not to return to the scene. And you are not to possess any weapons or any firearms. Thank you, sir. Dexter, how about Mr. Scott?
Villain,
Be Mr. Scott here.
Oh,
Villanueva Joseph.
okay. Thomas Scott?
Oh, okay, he bonded your.
Oh, okay, thank you. All right, you're Mr. Villanueva?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir. This is 19 CF 16340. You were arrested for possession of fentanyl. There is probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. I am going to place you on pretrial release at this time, sir. You are not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. I'm going to have you randomly tested through pretrial release, sir.
Your Honor, if we can ask that the testing starts within 48 hours of his release.
I think they usually give them time. Like, I don't think the first test counts against them.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome, sir. Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
Joseph Webb, good afternoon.
Mr. Webb, this is 19 CF 16326. You were arrested for sexual battery, possession of ammunition by a convicted felon, and possession of firearm by a convicted felon. There is probable cause for the offenses. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Ms. Fusco, did you want to be heard with respect to bond as to count 1?
If I can have a moment, yeah.
Sure.
Your Honor, count 1 is in a PBL. It's a first-degree felony.
That's correct. Bond on count 1 is 25,000. Bond on count 2 is 150. Bond on count 3 is 150. Mr. Webb, you're not to have any contact with the victim in this matter or any witnesses. You are not to possess any weapons or any firearms, sir. You're also not to return to the scene. Do you understand?
I understand.
All
I didn't
right.
understand. You said 21 or 21,000?
25,000 is bond on count 1, and then on bond on count 2 and 3, it's 150.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Sir, good morning. Your name?
Yule A. White.
Mr. White, sir, you're here in 17 CF 10769. You failed to appear for a violation of probation on 11/21 of this year. Your bond is set at none. I'll appoint the public defender if they weren't previously appointed, sir, and you have reporting requirements when you're released from the jail. Sir, good morning. Your name?
Roy Ray.
Mr. Ray. How about Mr. Kem?
Ma'am?
Just 1 second, Mr. Ray.
This Kim is mental health.
All right, we'll reset Mr. Kem. Good morning, Mr. Ray.
Good morning.
Sir, you are here in 19 MO 1899. You were arrested for open container. There's probable cause. Did you want a lawyer to help you with your case this morning, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. And did you want to resolve your case?
I want to resolve today.
Yes, sir. I'll just need you to sign the plea form, please. Mr. Ray, did you read the plea form before you signed it?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights that you're giving up?
No, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No.
Do you understand if you are not a U.S. citizen that this plea will subject you to deportation?
I am a United States citizen, but yes, I do.
All right, sir. Have you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand what's happening in court today? Thank you.
No, ma'am.
All right, sir. I'm going to accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail. You have credit for 2 days' time served. You will need to pay court costs, which are due by November 27th of 2020, and you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing. Thank you, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
Your name?
Kareem Kevin Mohammed.
Mr. Mohammed, this is 19 MM 9538. You were arrested for trespass on property after warning and possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause for each offense. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Did you want to resolve your case this morning, sir?
Yes, miss.
All right, I'll need you to sign the plea form, please. Mr. Mohammed, did you read the plea form before you signed it?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights that you're giving
No,
up?
ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen that this plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand what's happening in court today?
No, ma'am.
All right. I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail. You have credit for 2 days' time served. You are not to return to the 7-Eleven at 1201 North Summeron Boulevard. You are to pay court costs. Those are due by November 27th of 2020, and you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing. Thank you, sir.
Oh.
Sir, good morning. Your name?
Good morning. My name is Jonathan Martinez.
Sir, Sir, you are here for an out-of-county warrant from Osceola County, Florida. Your bond is set at none. Osceola County is going to come pick you up. You'll see a judge when you get there. I'm not going to take any action on the Orange County case today. All right, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Good morning, sir. Tell me your name, please.
Archie Montero.
What is it?
Arturo Montero. Morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Okay, I just don't have the paperwork.
We don't have the paperwork, Your Honor.
Oh, all right. Mr. Montero, it appears that you have been brought to court this morning because we need to tell you that you have an immigration hold. All right? Yeah. So someone from immigration is probably going to come speak with you.
Has the public defender been appointed, Your Honor?
Sorry, ma'am. Yesterday, I got interviewed by them.
Pardon me?
They already spoke to me yesterday.
Okay, but the law requires me to, I don't have any jurisdiction over the immigration issue, but the law requires me to inform you that you still have a hold. So even if you've posted bond related to your case that you're here for, you're not going to be released until that hold has been resolved.
Okay, so how long they gave you? 48 hours after the hold? Because that was the law enforcement by the FSS.
Oh, I don't know, sir, but I was just informed you're on a no bond VOP anyway, so you don't have a bond currently. But you'll have to talk to your lawyer about that, sir, okay? Thank you. Good morning, are you Mr. Burke?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Burke, this is 19 MM 738. This is defense motion for release on own recognizance. State, did you have a position on the motion?
Just a moment, Your Honor. On this one, Your Honor, there are no FTAs, and we would defer to the court's discretion.
Okay. Ms. Haling, are you going to rely on the information in your motion?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Burke, I'm going to grant your motion at this time. You are not to return to the Family Dollar, sir. You're not to have any contact with any of with the victim in this matter, which is the employee at the Family Dollar.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're to attend all your court dates and maintain contact with your lawyer. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Burke.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning. Your name?
Jeremy Rogers.
This is 19 MM 9125. State, do you have a position on the motion?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, I believe there are 2 felonies, 1 misdemeanor, and 3 FTAs. And the state would request that the bond remain stayed.
Okay. Ms. Haley, do you want to have your client sworn?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name for the record.
Jeremy Rogers.
Mr. Rogers, how long have you lived in the Central Florida area?
Since 1998.
Okay, do you have any family members who live here?
I do not.
Okay, were you able to reach out to anyone to help you out with your bond?
I was not able to get anyone to be able to do that.
Did you attempt to call anyone?
I did.
Who did you call?
I called my boss.
Okay, and you said he was unable to help you?
Yeah, because of family obligations.
Okay, and I have a physical address which is listed in the motion. Is that the address where you'd be living if you were released today?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so as we spoke, and you do have prior failure to appears. Your Honor, the last one was in 2018. With that being said, Mr. Rogers, do you understand how important it is that you appear at your future court dates?
Yes, I absolutely do.
Okay, and if you are released today, how would you get back to court?
I would use the bus to get there.
Okay, do you also agree to keep in contact with your attorney?
Definitely.
Okay. Your Honor, no further questions.
Ms. Fusco, did you have any questions for the witness?
Yes. Could you state the name of the individuals owning the address that you have provided, that you will reside if out on bond?
The individuals owning the address?
Yes.
My landlord's name? I can't remember what his name is off the top of my head, I'm sorry.
Sorry, that's his address.
Just been renting it for a long time.
On the arrest affidavit, it says general delivery.
I had to get a replacement ID, and that's what they put on there. I'm sorry. I thought she was asking me.
It's on your honor.
Mr. Rogers, I'm going to grant your motion. I'm going to order that you are not to possess any weapons or any firearms. You are to attend all court dates. You are to also maintain contact with your attorney.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And then, are you Mr. Wallace?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And this is 19 MM 9367. This is defense motion for non-monetary release. State what's your position on the motion?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, there are 6 felonies, 8 misdemeanors, and 4 failures to appear. So the state would request that the bond be stayed.
Okay. Ms. Haley, did you want to have your client sworn?
Yes, Your Honor.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name.
Jackie Wallace,
Mr. Wallace, how long have you lived here in Orange County?
all my life.
Okay, do you have any family members who also live here?
Yes, ma'am.
Who lives here?
My mother and my grandma's.
Okay. Have you made any attempts to contact your mom or your grandmother regarding help with your bond?
Yes, ma'am, they couldn't.
You said, I'm sorry.
Yes, I made contact with them, they couldn't help.
Okay. And are you currently employed?
I'm pursuing a job at Popeyes right now.
Okay, so currently you're not employed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you have no way of posting the bond, the monetary bond on your own?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I have a physical address listed that's in the motion. You confirmed with me earlier. Is that the address you would live at if you were released today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And also, there is a failure to appear history. We mentioned, I spoke with you earlier. The last one was October of 2018. With that being said, do you understand the importance, Mr. Wallace, of you returning back to court for your future court date?
Yes, ma'am, I truly do.
Okay. Do you agree to keep in contact with your attorney so that you don't miss any future court dates?
Yes, ma'am, I truly do.
How would you return back to court if you're released?
By bus or either Uber or my grandma.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Fusco, any questions?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
All right. When was the last failure to appear, Robin? Can you tell me that?
Your Honor, that was back in April of 2018. No, October 2018, Your Honor.
October 18?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Ross, I'm going to grant your motion. You are not to return to Walgreens. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. You're to attend all court dates, and you are to maintain contact with your attorney, sir. Do you understand?
Thank you, yes, ma'am.
Okay, if you fail to appear for court, there will be a warrant issued for your arrest. It will have no bond.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wallace.
Yes.
And then, Ms. Fusco, just let me know when you're ready for the 33-day motion.
I'm ready, Your Honor.
Okay. Oh, great. Um, 19 CF 14954 Kevin Hernandez.
Yes, Your Honor, and information was filed on November 26, filing ID 995-08138.
That'll be denied. 19 CF 14820 Raymond Loss.
Yes, Your Honor, and information was filed on November 26 of 19, filing ID 995-06061.
That'll be denied. 19 CF 15463 Little Robertson.
Yes, Your Honor, and information was filed on November 26 of 19, filing ID 995-12166.
That'll be denied. 19 CF 14884 Jesse Windsor.
Yes, Your Honor, and information was filed on November 26 of 19, ID number 995-14363.
Nineteen CF 11752 Joseph Garrett.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, that's a prior. That was another one out of order. I apologize, Your Honor.
That's okay.
So in the matter of Joseph Garrett, an information was filed on November 26 of 19, filing ID 994-62961.
Okay, that'll be denied, but on the Windsor one that we did before, my notes indicate that that should have also still been denied, and is the correct filing ID 995-14363?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so then we're on track. 19 CF 14880 Nicholas Richburg.
Yes, Your Honor. On that one, there is a notification of non-filing on November 26, filing ID 994-92475.
That'll be granted. 19 CF 14873 Tiffany Welch.
Yes, Your Honor. There's a no information notice, filing ID 995-02239. That was filed on November 22nd.
That'll be granted. 19 CF 14860, Oscar Crenshaw.
Yes, Your Honor. In that one, there's a notification of non-filing on November 26th. ID is 995-03174.
That'll be granted. 19 CF 14935, James Fournier.
Yes, Your Honor. On that one, there's a notification of non-filing on November 26th, filing number 995-02089.
That'll be granted. 19 CF 14936, Nixon Tucker.
Yes, Your Honor. On this one, we have an information file, filing ID.
Could I have the attorneys place their appearances on the record, please?
Good morning, Lakeisha Halen, Office of the Public Defender.
Elaine Fusco, State Attorney's Office.
Thank you. Ma'am, good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Nicole Martin.
Ms. Martin, you are here in 19 MM 9547. You were arrested for trespass on property after a warning.
I don't know.
There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Ms. Martin, did you want to resolve your case this morning?
Yes.
Okay, I'll need you to sign the plea form, please. Do you want to talk to your attorney for a moment?
I could possibly ask a couple.
Have a moment, thank you.
Ms. Martin, did you read the plea form before you signed it, ma'am?
Yeah, I'm in the room.
Okay. Do you have any questions about any of the rights that you're giving up?
No.
Are you on probation? Do you understand that if you are not a U.S. citizen, that this plea will subject you to deportation?
Yeah, I'm a U.S. citizen.
All right, ma'am. Have you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand what's happening in court today?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail. You have credit for 2 days' time served. You are not to return to the airport, ma'am. You've been trespassed, so every time you go back to that property, you're going to be arrested.
Okay, ma'am. Please
Okay?
forgive me.
You will need to pay court costs, which are due by November 27th of 2020, and you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing.
Okay.
Thank you. Sir, good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Your name?
Antoine Latrice Atkins.
Mr. Atkins, you're here in 19 CF 6058. It is alleged that you have violated your probation and that you were instructed to report to probation and you failed to do so. It is also alleged that you failed to successfully complete the impulse controlled class within 90 days of your probation, and you also have not made your court costs and fines as required. Your bond is $2,500, sir. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. All right, thank you. Sir, good morning. Your name?
Steve Brady.
Mr. Brady, this is 19 CF 16346. You were arrested for possession of cocaine, DUI, and possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause. I will appoint the public, actually, you didn't fill out an application, sir. Were you going to hire a lawyer?
I'm going to hire an attorney.
Okay. You're going to want to do that as soon as possible, sir.
All right.
And at this time, I'll place you on pretrial release.
All right.
All right, thank you.
No bond.
You will not be a bond, so you'll be
Okay.
supervised by pretrial until your next court date.
All right, thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Ma'am, good morning. Your name?
Monique Calderon.
Ms. Calderon, you're here in 18 CF 15200. It is alleged that you have violated your probation by failing to report to your probation officer as instructed on September 12th and on August 15th. It also alleges that you moved without getting permission from your probation officer. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond is set at none. You'll see Judge Whitehead in the next 7 to 10 days. Thank you. Sir, good morning. Your name?
Santonio Johnson.
Mr. Johnson, this is 19 CF 16347. You were arrested for driving while license suspended with 2 prior convictions. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond on count 1 is $150. Your bond on count 2 is going to be $2,000. Your bond on count 3 is $150, sir. You're not to drive without a valid driver's license, and you're not to possess any weapons or any firearms. Thank you, sir. Sir, good morning. Your name?
Sean Manley.
Mr. Manley, you're here in 19 CF 16357. You were arrested for possession of synthetic cannabinoids. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. So I'm releasing you on your own recognizance at this time. You need to attend all court dates and contact your lawyer within 24 hours of your release from the jail to provide the best contact information for you. You understand, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
That's all.
Justin Weezer is bonded, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Williams?
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, sir. You are here in 19 CF 16343. You were arrested for possession of cocaine in open container. There's probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance at this time. You need to attend all court dates and contact your lawyer. Well, I guess on Monday. I told the other guy 24 hours too, but tomorrow's a holiday and the office will be closed. So you need to contact your attorney's office on Monday morning and provide them with the best contact information to get in touch with you, sir. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, that's on old cases?
Mhm.
Okay.
Sir, good morning. Your name?
Miguel Zaponte.
This is 19 CT 2332. You were arrested for driving while license suspended. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you, sir. Your bond is $500. Oh, did you have something for me, Robin?
David.
Oh, that's okay. Thank you. It's alleged in the affidavit.
He has a probation too, Your Honor. He has a 5-day hold.
Yes, I saw that. Good morning, sir. Your name?
Rodney Wilson.
Mr. Wilson, this is 19 CT 8645. You were arrested for driving while license suspended with knowledge.
Yes, ma'am.
There's probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you.
Thank you.
Mr. Wilson, you understand that you cannot drive without a valid driver's license?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna set your bond at $500. Again, you're not to drive without a valid driver's license. I'm not gonna take any action on your out on bond case at this time, sir, but if I see you come through IA again on a driving while license suspended case, I'm gonna revoke the bond.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, good morning. Your name?
Billy Hamlin.
Mr. Hamlin, this is 19 MM 9549. You were arrested for exposure of sexual organs. There's probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. I'm going to say the bond at $500, sir.
What's that?
Your bond is $500. All right, thank you. You're not to return to the Los Gringos Locos. Is that what? Yeah. You understand? Yes?
Yes.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
Demetrius Harrell.
Mr. Harrell, you are here as an over-the-line arrest. You were arrested for fleeing and eluding with lights and sirens and driving while license suspended or revoked. There is probable cause for the offenses. I'm going to set your bond at $7,500 on count 1, and count 2 will be set at $100. If you can't post the bond, Seminole County will come pick you up, and you'll see a judge when you get there.
Say it again?
If you can't post the bond that I just set, Seminole County will come pick you up, and you'll see a judge when you get to Seminole County.
So if I can post a bond right now, I can get out?
That's right.
So how much my bond is altogether?
Did Mr. Wood bond? Okay. All right, then that will be in recess.